Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So we're gonna be doing it's supposed to be originally 30 minutes. So we're obviously just gonna be recording a video, podcast kind of style. So we're gonna look at 3D printed YouTube clips or 3D prints related, and we're gonna look at Reddit posts, and then we're gonna look at 3D printing news. So first, let's go and type in 3D printing and check some videos. And then we want to look at some recent stuff. So we're gonna go for stuff in the past week. Full color resin printing. Yeah, this one's very interesting. So this is new.
Full color resin printing is here, and I'm not talking about 4 to 16 flat colors like
I mean, that looks incredible. That looks painted by like a highly professional, detailed artist, right?
in FDM printing. I'm talking about 640,000 distinguishable color combinations across the surface of detailed models.
Yeah, that is insane. This is huge news. This is huge. And it's not like a shoddy kind. It's like, it's very detailed in each kind of small crevice, small gap. So this is top notch right here.
Whether you're looking to make a single prototype part in a specific tone or
Wow.
a fully painted detailed miniature, yeah,
Incredible.
that's what this does. I just heard myself speak there, and I'm reading my own.
So I know what we're all thinking. It looks amazing, but what is the price? Stratasys J55. So from what I remember, I was looking this up before. The price is pretty crazy. We can look at Reddit and look in the last. Let's see. Look at tools. Anytime past week. Nope, nothing there. Okay, so we're looking. I think it was in the comments actually. I think it was the top comment. Yep, 85k, and that's in pounds. So it's about $100,000, which is insane. It looks amazing, but it's worth 100,000.
Own script, and I realise this sounds like a sales
Yeah, I
pitch,
couldn't
but
justify
look,
that.
The point is, I
Imagine
get
going
it.
to the
This
wife,
is not for everyone, and I know for a
not that I
fact
have
that
one,
many
but
people out
go to the
there,
wife, say,
like
"Nah,
me,
I want a new 3D
enjoy
printer."
painting
How
models
much
that
is
they
it?
3D print.
About
But even
100,000.
if that's the case, you've still got to
Crazy.
admit, from a technology standpoint alone, this is flipping cool.
But this is how most 3D printing technologies start. You get a really high priced one, and then auto manufacturers are trying to make a buck, so they figure out how to make it cheaper and bring it to the consumers. So it's just a matter of time. So 85k plus, you know, I know, like we have like a lot of competition, we have a lot of technology, you got AI, all kinds of stuff. So we can probably look at getting something like this in homes for like a reasonable price, probably within the next, I'll say 2 years.
And obviously, I don't mean flipping, but I'll get demonetized for swearing in the first 30 seconds. So instead of a review of this machine, I just want to show off how this amazing technology works, because you can already order prints from one of these machines at very reasonable prices, but we'll get to that.
What
And
price
also,
is
just a reminder,
reasonable?
if you watch this video, the second load of bays
oh,
below
that's
this
crazy.
is used for redundancy. So when one cart runs out, it moves on to the next one, so you can swap them out without having to
Okay.
pause or delay prints.
So you have
Now, I
multiple
hope the build
cartridges.
quality of this
Similar to a like an inkjet printer, right? So it basically mixes up the different colors with the base colors to make the specific color combination, I'm guessing. So
polyjet printing.
There we
Now,
go.
from the specs I was able to gather online for this machine, the build area is stated as 140 by 200 by 187 millimeters.
it's a lot smaller than I was expecting, especially with that kind of price. So let's see, let's move
Layer.
forward.
And this can easily be removed after printing. So as the plate spins past the
Wait, is it still,
and surrounds the model,
it looks like it's like still wet, right? Like resin. Is it the same kind of resin?
it's
Or
printed, you can see the core material is actually a single color. And the print heads will also lay down the support material, which is used as both a base and completely supports. Final
got
stage
some
is the
dentures,
LED
some new
curing bar,
teeth.
which, like the print heads, move then support material, then
That's
a couple
pretty
of
cool,
cure
though.
passes. But
okay, I see what other videos are out there, so that's very cool. Top 5 beginner mistakes in 3D printing and how to avoid them.
Tired of failed 3D prints? In this video, I'll go over the top 5 common beginner mistakes, how to fix them for getting beautiful prints every single time. Right here,
remember
Zachary's
ebook
3D
12
prints.
common mistakes
Hey,
in 3D
Zach
printing.
here. Welcome back to
So
this
maybe there's gonna
channel.
be some
Today
similarities.
we will dive in, but
So
your
skip the
layer
intro.
won't stick properly. This is how
Yeah,
you would
very
fix
common
it.
issue.
Use a piece of paper to adjust
Level the
the
bed.
nozzle height. You should printers
Correct.
have an auto bed level.
Auto
People are
leveling.
making is using incorrect print settings like temperature, print speed,
Interesting.
and layer height. Always
course.
start with the right
Increase that initial layer printing temperature so the filament is more melted, plus increase the initial layer height, kind of flow rate, or even the initial layer height, just for the first layer, right?
recommended and speed.
I remember somebody told me to increase the initial layer line width to basically just extrude more material on that first layer, right?
Number 3, ignoring filament quality and storage.
Yep, that's a big one. You can get so many fails just based on the strength and the quality of your model, also of your filament. So that's definitely something you have to take into account. Get your filament dryer and make sure you dry your filament, but also make sure you store it well.
Containers with the silicons to
Correct.
prevent moisture absorption. Moisture can cause clogging and poor print quality, so make sure
Yeah.
to store your filament in a cool, dry place. Mistake
Correct,
number
correct.
4, overlooking the
a great
importance for supports. For prints
Oh yeah, that's a massive one. Supports can make or break you, especially when you're at the top of the print and there's one little part that's not supported properly. What do you get? A print failure. And if you're a beginner, you're not gonna really know how to reprint it to make it look nice, right? Obviously it takes a bit of a process to reslice it at a specific height where it failed and then try to just stick it on, right? That's one way of
with
doing it.
overhangs or complex geometries, supports
I mean, the best thing you can do is just use your auto support settings and don't have the, the overhang threshold too low. Make sure it's at least 45 degrees.
very essential. In your slicer, enable supports for absolutely. Clean the print bed.
Clean the print bed, of course. So yeah, we got some pretty good tips in there. I like the visuals in the video. That's from Zachary 3D Prints. Yeah, so that's pretty good. I like it. Let's see what else is there. Can Bambu Lab 3D printers be repaired? Interesting. This is from Teaching Tech. Massive 3D printing YouTuber. I remember his come up.
If they break, it's game over.
He was
But
doing
is that
really
true?
like
Today,
a
we'll
lot
get
of
to work in a
videos.
range of areas to find out.
Yeah, let's look.
Their online support, such as the how-to guides, their self-guided wiki
Yeah,
articles,
there's a lot
and
of
of course their
Bambu Lab
HMS
support.
error codes, which sometimes pop up on
The community is
screen or
pretty
in the
much
app.
doing
And
all
we're
the
going
work.
to start with 2 components
And
on
then
the A1
Bambu Lab
series, one of which
takes
also
into account
applies
what
to
they
the
say,
A1 Mini. In case
and
you've
then
been living under
basically,
a rock, Bambu Labs A1 had a
puts it together, makes it happen. So the community plus the team, that together is an amazing thing because it gets so many things updated, gets all these like new kind of features that people can think of and people are implementing. So it's really a great combination.
complete recall due to an issue in a small amount of heated beds. This is not ideal, but I think the response was pretty good. My particular printer didn't show any signs of the defect, but even so, I elected to wait for the complete bed replacement, which should be interesting because this component was never really intended to be replaced by the user. So when this printer was originally designed, was it designed with disassembly in mind?
Right, exactly. So yeah, that was a really good update that they did. They took account of it, they put their hands up and said, yeah, we kind of messed up here. Obviously with electronics there's so many things that can go wrong, but that's how you get the versions that come after, which works for everyone. So it's gonna happen. It's not ideal, but
So
you can't
how
avoid
reasonable
everything,
was
right?
this replacement process overall? I didn't use a stopwatch, but I'm pretty sure the time estimate was spot on. and the documentation provided was very thorough and easy to follow.
We have some good instructions and documentation.
Ender 5. This is similar in that a replacement
cooling
fan.
This is the same part
for the A1
cool.
and A1. Wanted to replace a worn-out fan, you have to buy
swap.
the rest too.
Nozzle
But at least
swap.
Previously and had sitting ready to go. We slide it up. We're
And it's like filament breakage. Yeah, I've experienced this a few times.
Remove all of our filaments, which doesn't seem
it can be a bit tricky getting through to this part because basically there's two cables that need to attach. If you just pull it, you'll be pulling the cables out, so you have to be gentle, right?
Release quite freely. But to get further inside, there's 2 screws we need to undo at the back, and that will allow the internals to lift up, but you need to be careful not to damage the attached wires on the bottom.
That design there,
can be hard to get
you should have made the cables longer,
I have always managed to
or just changed
get it done. This one's
how
definitely
it
not
goes in, right?
due to the complexity, and it can end up being
Maybe use different kinds of cables or something, I don't know.
Bamboo Lab design it so the bottom
we'll change the location of where it is to make it easier to do that, right?
The system is quite novel on the X1 and P1 series. On the back, we have 2 sets of screws that we need to loosen, and by doing that, we release a spring-loaded section that holds the belt pulley. All we're meant to do from here is to move the
So yeah, that's a pretty cool video. Let's see the comments. It's really nice to see that Bamboo Lab is offering their spare parts at reasonable prices. It's very common in the manufacturing industry for companies to sell you a customized machine and then charge crazy amounts of money for the OEM spare parts. Very true. I work at a 3D printing lab in Greece called 3D Hub, and we mostly use Bamboo Lab P1S for our FDM print farm. And what I can tell everyone is that they are reliable as hell. And servicing them is pretty easy compared to other machines. It's actually a piece of cake, to be honest, even if you're not experienced. All the screws are mostly the same, and there are instructions for everything. Love that. I got a laugh out of the bed replacement for A1 of you showing the instructions say you only need to use 1 tool, but then show using at least 4 different tools. I know they're all effectively the same tool, but I just find it funny how many tools we will use to not use the included, horribly unergonomic included tool. The funny thing is I actually have the tool right here. I just left it on my windowsill after I got a filament break, so yeah, it happens. Okay, next video, what we got? Okay, we're at 12 minutes for the video, so we're gonna move over to, what was the next one? Reddit posts. We love some Reddit posts. So I've already got my 3D printing top. We can go on that one. We can look at the last week to kind of see what has been happening in the 3D printing space. Yeah, this one's insane. I remember seeing this one. I was like, what the hell? That is just crazy. That is horror. That is nightmare inducing right there. That's wow. Yeah, no. Imagine stepping on that. That would be insane. Wow. Got all this for $100 at a yard sale. How did I do? Wow. That's a Prusa Mini. Got filament, more filament. That's the bed roller, the filament roller. That's an incredible deal right there. That's probably at least like used, maybe like $400-500 easily. My fiance asked if this was Kevin Hart. That's good. He just had a random cat in the corner. I didn't notice that. Oh, nice. How much for the little black demon on the perch? Love it. What in the world? Okay. Fantastic. Even though I have a Mini and XL, I'll take that deal myself. If you run into clogging problems, print hotter than you expect and it will print fine. Common problem with the Mini that causes frustration. Gotta love the Reddit community, helping people out. Great deal. Reset them with firmware update. So yeah, man, love that post. That's really cool. My dentist office has a 3D printer in the lobby. Pretty cool to keep kids entertained. Yeah, I remember seeing this one earlier. That's a very cool idea. I remember someone was like, oh, it's a good tax write-off. You know, if you're making a bit of profit, you can just start using that so you can lower your tax bill, right? Yeah, business expense. Dentists 3D print stuff all the time. It's already a business expense. Love it. I mean, that would be really cool to see at dentist office. You can kind of see a new model being built up from the ground. This Benchy started growing a big long plaque. All right, we're gonna not safe for work. Okay, that is yeah, definitely not safe for work. Doesn't look so. Yeah, that is 1 or 2. I left the printer unattended for 30 minutes and this happens. I love it. Looks like you turned your printer on and I was trying to return a favor. Yeah. Yeah, they're eating this up. They love it. Pun not intended, by the way. You left your printer alone for a bit and it got cocky. Cursed Benchies. That's actually a great subreddit as well. It's just a bunch of random weird Benchies that shouldn't look like how they look. It's actually pretty cool. I like that. Wow. There's no way. Oh, okay. That's yeah, it's barely recognizable. Rotten cheese. Why would you do that? What can you say about my printer looking at my Benchy? My Branchy. What issue is that? That just looks terrible. What actually, how is that? Looks like the layers are interweaved. It's got some really bad layer adhesion. So what I do there, maybe it's the cooling fans, that's why it's drooping. Maybe the print temperature, not too sure whether it's too high or too low. It looks like it might be too low. But then you have the drooping here. So maybe it's bad cooling fans and printing too low. Something like that. Let's see what people say. It's only up a few comments. Tighten the belts. You're printing way too hot and your part cooling fan for PLA isn't very uniform. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The proudest I've been of a Benchy. What? That's not a good Benchy, my friend. But first, the dual gantry print. Okay. I like that. Let's go back to the 3D printer subreddit. Love that. Someone at Renault thought it would be a good idea to install RCA sockets instead of 3.5mm jack for aux in my car radio. I decided to fix it. That was impressive. That's an incredible functional 3D print. Gotta love it. So okay, he's showing the design in Fusion 360, right? See, this is some stuff I need to learn, how to design like functional, useful models. I think that's where 3D printer really kind of shines. It's being able to 3D print stuff that's useful. And yeah, I love when people comment and give you all kinds of like tips and advice. You got a bunch of engineers, a bunch of like mechanical people, a bunch of design specialists that can all just give you a bunch of tips. So it's really amazing, the community, especially the 3D printing community. Very helpful with helping people fix things, right? Let's see what else we got. String art. I think I saw something to do with string art, which is real interesting. Wow, that's incredible. That's very cool. Yeah, how do you do that? That's so cool. So I'm guessing it's similar to a litho thing, where it balances the lights and the darknesses, right? But does with the string somehow, which is very cool. Yeah, these are really good. Yeah, these are very cool. I'm sure we can like put together some kind of idea of that, along with like, I don't know, another kind of, yeah, a mixture of a print. So you could have a design with that in the middle. Let's say something like Superman or Iron Man. Right. Let's see, Iron Man. So yeah, like you could have something like in the middle of here with the string design, and then maybe you could enclose it in some kind of transparent thing so you can still see the strings but it can't like break or something like that, right? Wow, he's incredible. So you actually need to make some helmets, because I've made some kind of masks, but I've never gone like properly in on making like a really good helmet. So that's something I definitely need to do. Okay, now finally, that's 10 minutes of Reddit posts. We're gonna go to 3D printing news for 10 minutes. We got 3 minutes on the 30-minute timer. So let's close these down. Go to 3D printing news. I'm gonna look at recent in the past week. So is this top result, IOM3, doubling down on 3D printing? Let's have a look. So chemists and material scientists at Sandia National Laboratories, USA have developed a process for printing non-metallic materials that they allege is 5 times faster than traditional 3D printing. Wow. A small bolt made while calibrating a machine to research selective dual wavelength olefin metathesis 3D printing. I have no idea what that means. The approach, called selective dual wavelength olefin metathesis 3D printing, SWAMP, uses ultraviolet, UV, and blue light. So it's basically a resin printer. Conventional vat printing irradiates a vat of photosensitive liquid resin in a desired pattern. Light beneath the vat cures and hardens the resin into a polymer layer, which is lifted, and a new pattern is projected beneath to cure subsequent layers. Correct. However, the polymer can adhere to the previous layer and to the bottom of the vat as it cures. After each layer, the polymer must slowly be peeled from the vat to prevent damage, significantly slowing the 3D printing process. Very true. Material scientist Samuel Leguizamon explains that the cured polymer might break off the build head and damage the print during delamination, which can cause print failure. Sometimes, yeah. Conventional fat printing uses a very slow lift speed between layers to prevent damage/failure. And with the Elegoo Saturn 4 Ultra, it's got the tilting vat mechanism, so it definitely helps. So you can still get 150 millimeters per hour of printing time, right? So that's pretty good. By removing the interface between cured polymer and vat bottom, we prevent any potential damage and allow for rapid printing. Interesting. The team was inspired by continuous liquid interface printing, along with an approach that uses dual wavelength light for acrylic-based polymerizations. While it still prints in layers, a second light wavelength prevents polymerization at the bottom of the vat, allowing it to be lifted more quickly and speeding printing up to 18 centimeters per hour. Okay, so it's not that much ahead of the 15 that we see. It's literally about 20%, which is still pretty good, but yeah, maybe it's we'll have to see that more in action to see if there's any other downsides to it. The UV light activates an inhibiting chemical to prevent polymerization, which is irradiated in a shallow layer across the entire vat to prevent adhesion. Okay. The blue light activates only the initiator and only allows for polymerization, so it is shone and patterned as required to create a part. It is also used at high intensities to penetrate just beyond the blanket UV light layer to cure above the inhibited interface. To make 3D printed material stronger and more versatile, the team tried dicyclopentadiene, commonly used to make paints, varnishes, and flame retardants for plastics, instead of acrylic-based materials. Okay. So we have patented a formula that took use of photosynthesis to rapidly initiate polymerization and allow for the use of visible light irradiation. Poly whatever is already a commercially relevant polymer used in a variety of industries with a large global market. He knows of only one company to have commercialized it for 3D printing and notes it has conventionally needed reaction injection molding, which has limited the geometries and applications. Their current prototype has a light engine modified with a blue LED to pattern light and a separate UV lamp to inhibit polymerization. They use a dichroic mirror to project both wavelengths from two light sources into a single vat. While it is made up made of multiple parts, they are open to developing a commercially viable system. They are still studying the range of materials that can be used with the process, but are developing polyethylene-like materials and other high-performance materials for locations where machinery and parts are not readily available, such as space or military bases. Okay, well, that's definitely interesting. I like that. We can always appreciate some new technologies and new advances in 3D printing, especially in the resin market. I think there's a lot more potential in the resin market compared to filament because of the layer by layer, like instantaneous one layer done, right? Because imagine you could do, you have 3D printed houses with concrete. Imagine you could do something like that with a house, doing it layer by layer. You shine a really bright light and it builds it up. Right? That'd be very cool. Expansion of 3D printing for the UK rail industry. Okay. I'm from the UK. Let's see what this is saying. Okay. So this is 4 days ago. Let's see. So Rolling Stock Consultancy, DBESG, which provides rolling stock engineering solutions, has expanded its innovative work in 3D printing to offer digital manufacturing services to the UK rail industry. The expansion has been driven by significant growth and development in this business area. Since 2018, DBESG has been using the technology to address component supply issues and solve engineering problems on over 93 individual projects for 20 different customers. That's very cool. The company's approach has solved engineering and operational problems that have enabled vehicles to remain operational and improve the overall efficiency of the UK's rail industry. Love that. That's some solid 3D printing, functional kind of use at work. So an extensive range of materials are suitable for 3D printing, including carbon reinforced materials, flexible polymers, and various metals. Very nice. Using 3D printing allows single units to be supplied, avoiding the need to order large minimum quantities, removing the need for storage and keeping costs low. Very true. Delivery times can also be within days instead of typically months for traditional manufacturing. Digital manufacturing encompasses the design, development, and the production of physical parts by using computer-aided processes such as additive manufacturing, also known as 3D printing, and programmable CNC machines. Very nice, yeah. So basically they're designing it straight from there, and then they're 3D printing it straight from there. So it's very easy to do once you have some experience, right? The process not only combats obsolescence, true, but can also be used to address component failures. It also allows design changes to be made to improve the reliability and quality of parts, and allows new materials and technologies to be incorporated. Yep. So basically you can correct the designs, similar to what we had in the Reddit post, right? You can change the design based on any kind of like new features you want to add onto it, right? So digital manufacturing also enables bespoke components to be created from scratch, jigs and tooling for deep depots, and rapid prototypes for larger integration projects. DBESG was established in 1995. It's part of DB System Technic, one of Europe's largest rolling stock consultancies in Europe, and its world-class experts and solutions add value to both its customers and the UK rail sector. The company has also developed an online digital manufacturing hub with a catalogue of parts that is both an educational and procurement tool where parts can be ordered online. Nice. Further information can be found, blah blah. Okay. So HS2 is already using 3D printing to produce reinforced concrete. Wow. On site, which cuts the amount of concrete, reduces carbon emissions by up to 50%. Wow. And in Germany, Siemens is incorporating a 3D printing facility at a new depot under construction in Dortmund. Massive. A clear commercial strategy was set up for DM, including 3 clear business streams: obsolescence, bespoke components, and 3D scanning. Alongside the commercial strategy, a technical strategy has been established to focus on research and development into different materials, new technologies, and innovative processes. This has provided us with endless use cases and established our position as the market leader for rolling stock digital manufacturing. Nice. We were the first in the UK to place 3D printed parts into commercial service on a passenger train in 2019. Since then, we have rapidly expanded our offering and have provided digitally manufactured components and services to major OEMs, TOCs, and ROSCOs, Roscoes, from individual parts to entire fleet fitments. That's big. Yeah, you're going to see the massive kind of introduction of 3D printing in commercial industry, and I think a lot of it's going to come down to consumer industry. You know, I think companies are going to start actually selling STL files related to their products. Say you have Apple, and you know, you have like a phone holder that attaches to a certain kind of car, because the thing is, you don't really need the company to create the STLs, because any individual person can create it. You can do a 3D scan, put it together in a CAD or CAD software, and just put it up for free in Thingiverse or, you know, printables, any website. So it really takes the power of production and puts it back to the consumers or the individual people, so you don't have to wait on companies who want to make profit off of you, and you know, they're not having really kind of fair deals on what they're supplying, right? That's why a lot of the companies, they'll create their own kind of cables and specific things, and or they make sure that it's not compatible with other things, so we kind of have to go out of our way to make sure that we can provide that by ourselves without having to pay an extra premium on an already expensive product, right? So let's look at one more story. How long have we got? So 31. We'll do one more story. So new bioresin could truly enable circular 3D printing. The engineer. Researchers at Birmingham University have developed a new type of bio-based resin that can be 3D printed in high definition, then recycled back into constituent parts and reprinted. Wow. I think I remember reading something about this before. So it looks like a pretty decent benchy. I mean, it looks a little bit, you know, off kilter, but it's still definitely a benchy. Looks like it's printed in a clear material that's yellowed after curing. Or maybe that's because it's been recycled, right? So described in the journal Nature, the photopolymer resin uses a feedstock derived from lipoic acid, a naturally occurring fatty acid molecule commonly sold as a dietary supplement. Wow. The Birmingham team made a combination of two monomers from the lipoic acid, from which they were able to make a resin that could be recycled either back into the monomers or back to the original molecule for recycling. That's impressive. As part of the study, the researchers completed 2 printing of recycles with the material, but anticipate that further recycles would be possible. Reprinting the resin requires the addition of just a small amount of photo initiator to maintain the material's curable properties. Nice. Our approach is an important step away from relying on 3D printable resins made from petrochemicals which cannot be efficiently recycled, said lead researcher Professor Andrew Dove from Birmingham's School of Chemistry. While we still have improvements to make to the properties of the new resin, this research opens up exciting new avenues for development. So this is basically similar to using a filament recycler, but a resin version, which is amazing. It's great for the environment and for the advancement of 3D printing to be more like environmentally friendly, and plus more efficient and cheaper if you can reuse resin. Uses for the material could include industries where rapid prototyping is used to test products before moving to mass production. Although currently the material is more flexible than might be commonly used in industry, future applications could include automotive parts, medical and dental components, and even jewelry design. Nice. Enabling recycling within the light-mediated 3D printing industry is essential since it is a rapidly expanding method for materials production. Yeah. So, said co-lead researcher, assistant professor, Josh Walsh. That's a mouthful. We now have the prospect, and with our technology to help ensure that recycling becomes a built-in feature of 3D printing. University of Birmingham Enterprises filed a patent application covering the resin and its use in 3D printing. Yeah, I love that. Definitely looking forward to seeing how that kind of comes to fruition, or comes to the industry. I haven't really heard anyone talking about recycling resin 3D print, so this is definitely a first. And if it can be done effectively in a way that's like practical, then yeah, that's amazing. I love that. All right, cool. So that's the last story we're gonna do. It's very, very interesting. Got some cool stories this week. Yeah, looking forward to how things progress in the 3D printing industry.